What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I'm your host, Jimmy Smith, and I thank you all for taking the time on this beautiful Monday night. And fourth time, apparently, is the charm here. So we went through some of the cuts today. Nothing too surprising here, but now we have finally made it to the Eagles' 53-man roster projection. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow we will know the roster. Well, part of it, and we'll get into that. But I appreciate you all taking the time. Thank you for hitting that like button, subscribing, whatever you're doing to support me. I hope you're all having a great start to your week. If you have any questions, comments throughout this video, please feel free to leave them down below. You're watching this later. You can always leave a comment, always down to talk some birds. So we're going to get into this. We're going to talk about the offense, defense, special teams. I'll show you the positional count at the end. Then we'll go through the depth chart and the practice squad. So going to project all of it for you. I know you guys have been asking for it, so we're going to run through this, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Who do you guys have making the team? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Whatever it is, would love to hear it. But let's get this bad boy underway. And Jock Talk in the building. Been a while, my man. I am doing well. Hope you are well also. Nice to see you. Hope your week is off to a great start. Ready to talk some birds. Tomorrow we're going to know this roster. I am very, very, very excited. So hope you guys are pumped up for this roster. And Nina, I cannot thank you enough. Fourth time you have made it to the show. I love it. I love your dedication. I love your support. I cannot thank you enough. And I hope, again, you and the family are doing well. Nice to see you. We got through some things today, but we're going to go through. We're going to talk about every position. We're going to look at it, and then I'm going to tell you how many I have us keeping. We'll talk about the depth chart, all that great stuff. So, as I said, let me have it. Richie's ready. Love to see it. Let's go. Glad to hear you are well. And hey, Lou, agree, disagree, whatever it is. I would love to hear any of your thoughts. Let me have it. So let's go, baby. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you for tuning in. But let's go. Let's start off with the offense. Shane Steichen was handed over the reins. The play calling last year. We started running the ball. Offense started looking great. Number one rushing attack. We're going to continue pounding that rock, but open up the playbook. A lot more passing. I see some very bright things ahead. But let's get into this. Is a very interesting position right out the bat. We know QB1, baby. Jalen Hurts. Gardner Minshew, a great backup to have. And then you have Reed Sinnett. Now, we just got rid of Carson Strong earlier. We talked about him. And Reed Sinnett, I've talked about the last couple of weeks. I have not seen what everyone else has seen. I do not think he makes this roster. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm sticking to my guns. I got the Eagles going with two quarterbacks here, Hurts and Minshew. But my thought process is we could definitely add somebody that gets cut. Somebody they're intrigued by, maybe a veteran, whatever it may be, a young man they were looking at in the draft got let go. Stash somebody on the practice squad, whatever it may be. I have on the 53 initially. We're talking about the initial 53. Things will change after the 53 is named, but I'll talk about that as well here in a bit. But you see the quarterbacks as I have it. Look, I think that this is a great room to have. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have. You should definitely have someone on the practice squad. And I definitely think a third quarterback could be brought in. But with what we have right here, I don't think Reed Sinnett has earned himself a spot on this roster. I've felt that way for a while, and I felt that way all camp. I just think he's not good. So, yeah, now I'm at 2. So, hey, thank you very much, Richie. I really appreciate your guys' support, and I can't wait to get to that next 1,000. So hopefully I keep bringing you guys content that, warrants getting some more subscribers. I thank you guys for sharing this, liking it, subscribe, all the things you're doing. That's why this keeps growing, because of you guys. So I truly appreciate you, man. Thank you. 2 quarterbacks. He agrees. Let's go. Josh Dobbs. And I would not cut Gardner Minshew. If anything, I would try to trade him because he's a valuable, very valuable backup. Definitely way better than Josh Dobbs. So, yeah. But I wouldn't be against Dobbs as a third quarterback. There's definitely some talented guys. I think Huntley may still be out there. I'm not sure. But there are guys out there. Now, on to the running backs. We have Kennedy Brooks trying to push the Eagles to keep a 4th running back. We've talked about that all camp. Everybody else has been left, in the wind. Jason Huntley let go earlier. We talked about who cares if he had a big run. We knew he wasn't going to make the squad. He's okay, as a running back, pretty decent as a returner, but just not seeing it for him. Now, my thought process here is I think we go with the 3 we know here in Sanders, Gainwell, and Scott, which I've been going with every time. But I think this room could be added to here. There are a plethora of running backs that have been let go. and I've named them. And there are guys still available. Of course, Jordan Howard, Latavius Murray, Devontae Booker, people we've talked about, but there are guys let go, Reichwell, Armstead, Abram Smith. There are guys we have talked about. So the Eagles are not done. And Howie Roseman is always wheeling and dealing. So I think out of the 4 we have, I think those 3 are on this roster, but don't be surprised at all if the Eagles go ahead and add someone else. That would be okay with me. I think a power back to me would be just fine. And I've said this before, and I know a lot of people feel a certain way because I love Boston Scott, but if you could get something in return, you feel you only need 3 running backs, dependent on who that back was that you would add. But I love Boston Scott, so I'm keeping him now. If you had a 4th back, I'm okay with it, but wouldn't surprise me too much, if anything was thrown out there. Sony Michel brought him up earlier. I agree with you 100%, Richie. I would definitely add someone like Sony. And, there's a lot of guys. Tony Jefferson at safety. So I've mentioned that, go check out those 3 videos from earlier. I tried to inform you of what was going on today. Tomorrow, I'll try to keep up with everything. I'm just going to make one video where we talk about everybody cut. Then we'll talk about the actual roster, all that great stuff. But let's keep this bad boy moving. Wide receivers, we cut this down. And, this is one of those rooms where, look, the top 4 I'm very excited about. But beyond that, Jalen Reagor, is he going to be traded? Because if he's not traded, I honestly think he could be on this roster just due to the salary cap. Obviously, we talked about dead money. We talked about all of that. And the ramifications there are just too big. So I think we could try to trade him. And I think it's definitely a possibility. I think it might happen. But beyond that, you could let him go and then maybe keep someone like a Kane, a Covey, or you like Allen so much, maybe you feel you can't risk putting him on waivers, allowing a team to get him because you could try to stash him on the practice squad, but that anyone could get him. But for me, I've got us going with 5. Now, again, Jalen Reagor, I feel, could definitely be traded here, but I wanted so badly to put Covey on here before. Then it was almost Deion Kane. Then I almost put Devin Allen here because he actually provides you a special teams gunner. He doesn't do much in the return game, which really sucks. But do you just keep a guy because he's got this Olympic talent? Maybe you do. And I know that Nick Sirianni used to be a receiver, so maybe he loves the kid. I'm not sure. I almost had Devin Allen on here. I've had Covey on here. Kane got erased. I mean, it's been tough. And I love the fact that I had to do that. And it was hard for me because in years past, it has just been like, okay, who's the worst? Okay, like we'll just cancel out. I mean, it's been rough. So we know brighter days are ahead, ladies and gentlemen. So I feel very confident about this receiver room. Those top 4, man, if they stay healthy, holy shit, that's one of the best quadruple sets in the world. And we've talked about what all of them bring to the table. So very excited about this wide receiving room and very intrigued to see what happens with Jalen Reagor here. So definitely keep my ear to the grain and I'll let you know what I hear. If something happens, I will definitely let you guys know. Sony or Drake. I would take Sony Michel over Kenyon Drake, but I like Kenyon Drake too, but he kind of brings the same thing that you already got with your other running backs. I think Sony brings a little bit more toughness. I would like him, but great question. Like regular, you finally got a veteran wide receiver like A.J. Brown. Yeah, we talked about that last year when I wanted us to draft Devontae Smith was because he needed another receiver there. So we got him, but Reagor still failed to live up to expectations. It's a very unfortunate first-round pick. You want him to pan out. If you get something in return, I get it if you trade him, but if he works out and could be the 5th wide receiver and could be good and be a returner and can actually bring something to that room, okay, I'm all aboard. And I have been, man. I wanted us to draft Jalen Reagor. I like Justin Jefferson. I didn't know he was going to be available, but that's, obviously I don't get into that too much. But I really think that these guys, man, they're very talented, and that's going to help Jalen Reagor get better. And because of the salary cap ramifications, again, I think that he is on this roster unless traded. So could Covey play running back? I do not believe so. He is definitely a little one. So, yeah, that would definitely probably not work out too well for him to learn from. Yeah, you got what you were saying. And that's something I've talked about. He needs that, and he needs a lot of help up here. He's got talent. So we'll see what happens, but could definitely be on the move, but not against him being here. Now at tight end, we have Dallas Goedert, Y-type tight end, the H-back Jack Stoll, and the F-type Grant Calcaterra. The question is, do the Eagles want to keep 4? Does Noah Togiai show you enough to make this roster? I love Noah Togiai. We've talked about Richard Rodgers. You're always your emergency tight end in case you need anything. But for me, I'm sticking with the 3 I had. I think it's, as mentioned there, your Y, your H, and your F. And then Tyree Jackson, after week 4, is eligible to come back. Cannot wait to see what he's able to do. So you've got some talent in that room. And I really think exciting things are coming from this offense and the tight end room, man. Even, 12 and 13 personnel you're going to see, and I'm very excited about it. Now, onto the offensive line. Andre Dillard, definitely still a trade piece, could be on the move. Got LaRaven Clark here, a great backup to have. So Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, stud tackles. You finally see the media talking about Lane Johnson. I'm telling you, this dude looks like he's in the best shape of his life. I cannot wait to see what he does this year. At guard, Dickerson, Sayamalu, love it. Let's go. Opeta, Driscoll, Sills and Awasika, some young men trying to make the team. And then at center, you have Kelsey, his protege, Cam Jurgens, and then Jack Anderson, the versatile center guard. For me, I have the Eagles keeping 10 offensive linemen. You got the best line in the game, Mailata, Dickerson, Kelsey, Sayamalu, and Johnson. Then you've got Dillard, Opeta, Jurgens, Driscoll, Clark. Now, you could keep 9 here if you trade Andre Dillard. LaRaven Clark can provide you left tackle depth. Jack Driscoll can play right guard. He can also play right tackle. Brett Toth will be coming back. So, a lot of things that are possible here, ladies and gentlemen, but that is how I have the offense playing out, and I would love to hear how you guys see it. And there's not as many on offense as you'll be able to tell if you're recounting as there is defense, but you're going to see why at the end, what I have going on here. And I've mentioned it already, the fact that I think other players are going to be added from other rosters. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah, a lot to go into it. So don't just look at it. I hope you're hearing what I'm saying, because there is a lot. I was just so many thoughts while I was making this. It was just, yeah. And the Eagles usually keep around 10, 11, and sometimes 9. You never know. Dallas Jack Grant. Yeah, man. Tight ends for sure. Is it weird that once the Eagles' first and second round pick will be backups? I think the Eagles should trade with the Bucks. Bucks and Isaac Samela, and Eagles need a safety. No, I want our starting right guard to stay here. So, nope, I'm not trading him. The Eagles need a safety. They do. And there are some ones out there I would love to pick up or trade for. We've talked about Chuck Clark and other guys. So, yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. And Howie Roseman knows. We try to add Jaquiski Tart. Things didn't work out there. So, we'll see what Howie does here. Raven Clark making the team. Yes, I do. Was O.J. Howard cut? I'm not sure. That the Buffalo Bills tight end, I have no idea. But moving on now to the defense. Okay, let's get it going here. And again, breaking it down as interior linemen, the edge rushers, your Sam linebackers, all that stuff. So let's get into it. Interior D linemen first. The 2 D tackles and our nose tackle, Jordan Davis. Very excited about them. Milton Williams' future, very, very bright. Marlon Tuipulotu has definitely improved. Loved what I saw from Marvin Wilson. Kobe Smith did some bright things. But for me, I'm sticking with the 4 I had. You got Cox and Hargrave as your starting D tackles. Milton Williams, what depth that is. That dude's going to be in whenever those guys are out. And Jordan Davis, dear Lord, any odd fronts you're running, you got that guy in as your 0, your 1 technique. This dude's going to eat people alive. Now, I do think Marlon Tuipulotu could possibly sneak on this roster, but I think I'm perfectly fine with those 4 right there. Now, when it comes to the edge rushers, these are different from the sand linebackers. I've broken them up, and I've also broke up the other linebackers. So you've got your D ends and your even fronts, and your outside linebackers and your odd fronts. I have Sweat, Graham, Barnett, all getting some nice reps in this defense. And I also have Teron Jackson making this roster, baby. That's right. Really liked him last year. We talked about him before the draft. Excited to get him. I think this kid continues to grow. Excited about having those 4 edge rushers. Great depth. Keep getting those guys in there, letting them spell each other. I think that's a great rotation there. And then at Sam linebacker, your other side of the edge rush, you have Hassan Reddick, baby. So very excited. Top free agent. We got him. Love it. Now, beyond that, I've been torn all damn offseason about, is it going to be Kyron Johnson, Patrick Johnson? Who is going to be the depth to Hassan Reddick? But Patrick Johnson has been balling out. Love Kyron Johnson, what he did in Kansas. And I think this kid, or Kentucky, whatever, I'm sorry, but this kid, 4.4 speed, started as an inside linebacker, played defensive end the last couple of years. He literally is that mold you want for a Sam linebacker. I do believe this kid, he's talented enough. I think you got to keep him on this roster. I think you keep all 3 of them. So I've switched that part, and I really feel that, now you've got depth on each side. You've got 4 edge rushers on one side, and look, these guys are going to play defensive end. They're going to be on the opposite sides, whatever, dude. I mean, we know this is a versatile defense, but I'm breaking them up as they are in their position. So really excited, and I think those three make it. Now, when it comes to the actual linebackers, Kaiser White, Nakobe Dean, TJ Edwards, oh, hell yeah. Now, Davian Taylor, I thought, we've got to keep giving him a chance. He's a third-round pick. The kid's got talent. But man, has he been horrible. Sean Bradley, love what that kid brings. Special teams help provide you with some depth. Jacoby Stevens, Christian Ellens, didn't really see much. I switched this up, man. I took Davian Taylor off the roster. And I actually think he might get brought right back. Could be on the practice squad if a team doesn't grab him. But I don't know, man. I'm just not seeing it. And he's really talented, and it sucks. And I know he's still raw. So I think he can definitely make this squad. I was definitely really torn here. And you're going to see why, because these next couple positions are really crazy, but I'm going to tell you why. So, yeah, I've got us at 4 here, guys. So let me know how you're feeling about this. We're going to get it in the secondary. We're going to close things out here, but we're going to keep it moving. Now, the cornerbacks. This is another loaded room, and we know the top 3. Very excited about them, but you've got a lot of young talent here, and don't know if I want to risk some of these guys hitting the waiver wire. So, Zach McPherson, Josiah Scott Carey, Vincent Mack, McCain, Tay Gowan, Josh Jobe, Mario Goodrich. A lot of talent, a lot of competition in this camp. I was really excited about it. I've got us keeping 6 of these guys: Slay, Bradbury, Maddox, McPherson, Gowan, and Jobe. And I really think that, Tay Gowan, I saw some good things. I saw some bad things. Same, for Josh Jobe, but I think Josh Jobe definitely makes this roster. I think Tay Gowan, I really like his upside, so I don't think you want to get rid of him just yet. And you're going to see why in a second here, why I have 6 here. But now on to the safeties. I just want to get through this so I can explain it all to you. But you got Harris, you got Epps, Kayvon, Reed Blankenship, and Andre Sacheret. And Reed Blankenship, we've talked about, he's got to make this roster. This kid has been balling out, and I think he continues to prove. And after we got rid of Tart today, I think for me, the signs are pointing to him making this roster. So Epps and Harris, your starters. Now I moved Josiah Scott. I feel that he has shown enough as a safety. You can use him as a free safety. You got Kayvon Wallace still here. I don't think they're going to give up on him. I almost kept Davion Taylor over Kayvon Wallace, and I think I wanted to until you see what I'm about to show you here shortly. So you got Andre Sacheret and Reed Blankenship, baby. So I had Reed making it. Andre Sacheret, I just feel he brings, depth at safety, nickel corner, but he can also be that special teams ace you need. I know he had an injury there, so let's talk about that. The reason I have 12 people in the secondary is because I'm also going to explain the injured reserve. So I feel that a few of those defensive backs are going to land on the IR as soon as they make that 53, because you have to be on the initial 53-man roster. Guys like Tyree Jackson, Brett Toth, they do not count against a 53-man roster. They were on the active preseason or the reserve preseason PUP list. So that way they were placed on the season PUP list. They'll only miss 4 games. They can come back. These guys that are injured now, they're going to have to go on IR. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to get into that in a second here, but let's finish it off. Obviously, we've got special teams. We don't leave anyone out. So excited to see what Michael Clay's unit can do here, but we know who the kicker, the long snapper, and the punter are. Would really like another punter maybe brought in just for a couple weeks to see what you can. I don't know. But Sipos looked good. He really did. I just feel, when it starts getting colder, he has some issues. We'll see. Hopefully he got better. I really hope that things work out for him. So, yes, that is your final 3. So that is 53, ladies and gentlemen, after you see the special teams there. So, again, I think a few of these guys are going on IR. So that's why these numbers are so skewed and so weird, because I'm going to show you the positional count here, and you're going to see why it's so whacked out. But I think another quarterback, another running back, possibly another receiver could be added, maybe a tight end. Who knows? But you've got 23 here. And again, I think there's going to be people added. And then on defense, you have here 6 guys at corner and safety. And again, I think a few are going to be gone. So what I'm going to do is show you this. You've got 11 guys on the defensive line, essentially 4 linebackers, 12 in the secondary. But what it would look like, what I'm going to show you on the IR here is I have one of those guys on the IR and 2 safeties on the IR. So it would actually turn out to be 24 on defense, 23 on offense. It would open up 3 roster spots. I think the Eagles are going to go out, get a quarterback, a running back, a safety. So those are positions you need to be opened up. We'll see who's still available. Maybe they get in talks with someone. Hey, look, once we place this person on IR, we're going to go ahead and sign you. So you see why I have it loaded there in the back end, but these guys are banged up, and I do feel that is where they're going to end up. So let's take a look at this projected depth chart and practice squad. And yes, you guys asked for a practice squad, so I gave it to you. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Hopeful that some of these guys can make it. Not sure that Devin Allen goes on there. Again, I wanted to put him on the roster because I'm afraid someone could really look at that upside. Same goes for Deion Kane or Britton Covey. Richard Rodgers there. Noah Togi, I could definitely be snagged if he is not a fourth tight end. So a lot of talent there. Kennedy Brooks, yeah, you could have him. Maybe a different running back I would probably go with, but just going with the guys we have, as I said before, I'm only going to stick with what we got here. Not going to get too wild on you. But on defense, I would love if Mario Goodrich could stick on the practice squad, but I think another team could probably take him. And then the rest was just kind of filled in. Davian Taylor, think he could be brought back to the active roster. You never know. Marlon Tuipulotu could make it. So there are some talented players on the practice squad too, but I really think it's going to be about 5 dudes you've never even heard of on there. So we'll see exactly how that goes. But you guys asked, so I made you one. Wanted to show it to you there quick, but I'm going to show you the depth chart, and it's going to include the guys on the IR so you can see what I'm talking about. David Taylor played the final snap in third preseason. It's concerning. It was very concerning to me, and it was showing all offseason. And you would hope by this third year that he really would have had something, and he regressed. So that's very concerning to me. And I think you could risk him going through waivers. I don't think anyone's going to pick him up. So he could go on the practice squad if you need to, bring him up. Hopefully he improves, but we'll see. Sachere is a fun name to say. Indeed it is. And I'm hopeful that he makes this squad, but you're going to see in a second when I think Sippos worked on his inner core of his body to do better. Yeah, and I also saw he was down punting by, the windy waters and all this stuff, dude. I love it, and I hope that it shows on the field. That's all I hope for. Who's the backup long snapper? I honestly, I don't know. Lane could probably do it. I'm sure there's Jason Kelsey could probably give it a shot, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that one. But let's get into this depth chart now here. And again, this is with the PUP guys and the IR included, but it's going to be blank where, obviously I think we could add a third quarterback, maybe a power back. So you've got those things. You see the 5 receivers there. Yeah, oh yeah, that gets me pretty excited. The tight end room, once Tyree Jackson comes off that PUP list after 4 weeks, he can be activated. We'll see if he's ready week 5, but they have a 3-week window to decide what they want to do with him, whether he's ending his season or coming back. So excited to see that. Same goes for Brett Toth down there at tackle, but maybe Andre Dillard. Maybe you find some kind of value. I don't know that I would trade him. It really depends on what they're getting. If you get a second-round pick, man, that might be hard to say no, but he really provides depth, and injuries can happen. So we've got a great line and some great depth there. So Dillard, Opeta, Juergens, Driscoll, Clark, I love all those guys. So excited to see what actually happens, but those are the 10 I have there. Now on to the defense. This is where things get a little sassy here. So we'll start from the top. We've got the edge rushers. You guys know those are the guys that will be playing defensive end or outside linebacker in the odd fronts. You got your D tackles in Cox Hargrave, who will be starting. Milton Williams will get a plethora of snaps. Jordan Davis, your one and only nose tackle, feasting on bodies. So excited about that. The interior defensive line gets me excited. And the rushers, Hassan Reddick, Kyron Johnson. Don't know why Patrick Johnson was cut off there, but apparently I did that. But he's on there. Patrick Johnson's on there. Damn it. I showed him to you. Now, anyways, Kaiser White, Sean Bradley, TJ Edwards, Nakobe Dean. Yeah, I'm excited about that linebacking room. Maybe Davian Taylor. We'll see. Now, the corners, you got Slay, Bradbury, Maddox, Gowan, and McPherson, because I think Josh Jobe could be placed on IR. He had an elbow brace on today. Hate to see that. I see a very bright future with the kid. Not that I thought he was going to get too much playing time to start. Just thought he could get some special teams in, get some practice. You just never want to see anyone hurt. So hopefully he is well. I hope he doesn't have to go on the IR, but I have no idea what the severity of these injuries are. So this is what I'm rolling with. You're going to have to deal with it. And then at safety, you see the reason I kept Kayvon Wallace here now, because I said I had Epps, Harris, and I wanted to keep Kayvon off, maybe Davian on there, maybe Marlon Tuipulotu, maybe a different, yeah. But I went with Kayvon because I think Scott and Sachere could also end up on that IR. Not sure what the severity is there, but I think those guys they like enough that you'll want to keep around. Now, you can only have 8 guys returning. Well, like 8 times. You get counted against each time. And say Andre Sacheret gets hurt again, it counts again if he gets put on 8R or IR. You can only do that 8 times. So you got to be careful here. But not bad. Only having 3 there, and you hope that throughout the season nobody gets hurt, but you never know. Maybe one of these guys, they just let go. I would hate to see that. Really like Sacheret. Scott, I think, has been showing enough to make this roster, though. And Josh Jobe, I definitely think that is a great move to do, a little stash on the IR there. And then, of course, special teams. And I know you're going to hate me for this, but if they're not keeping Covey, if they're not keeping anybody else, I honestly, I don't know what else you want me to do here. So I just stuck with what they had as the return specialist last year, as Jalen Reagor, and then went with Pascal, Watkins, Gainwell, Scott. And you know there are other guys like Josh Jobe. You've got Devontae Smith. There are so many talented guys on this roster that could help you as a returner. Maybe Darius Slay. You know, he is a playmaker. So a lot of options. Just still has me a little concerned there because I was hopeful when we brought in Britton Covey. I'm like, okay, we're going to get something. I thought Devin Allen, they would try to really pump him up there. So maybe Devin Allen does make this roster. Maybe he does just so they can keep trying to work him up. Like, all right, dude, we really need you in the open field, you know, to use your skills. So I thought I would see more of that, and we did not. So it's got me pretty torn. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There's your depth chart. There was your practice squad, your IR, your roster, everything. So I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts. Who do you have making it? Who don't you have? Could the Eagles risk Kane on the practice squad? Deion Kane, yes, they could definitely risk him making the practice squad. I thought he did great for a while there. Almost had him making the roster. I just don't think he's there yet. Not enough to, warrant taking a roster spot from some of these other guys. I think you have them on the practice squad, and we talk about, you can bring up 2 guys each week, and you can do that 3 times per year without it counting again. They don't have to go on waivers and go back to the practice squad. You can just bring them up on game day. So maybe you need him in the beginning. We'll see how Reagor's doing, all that stuff, but not sure that you need to have him on this roster. I do not hate Reagor's punt return versus Commanders. Punt return, yeah, I don't either. I don't hate any of that stuff. You got the wrong guy if you think I hate him. I don't hate any Eagle. These are human beings. I'm rooting for them. If they're an Eagle, I want them to do good. And if they get traded, I want them to give us some kind of value. So always rooting for them to do well. I don't understand people that just wild out and hate everything in life. And that's just, it's not going to happen. But that was it, ladies and gentlemen. That was your final Eagles 53-man roster. And the depth chart and the practice squad and the IR projections. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on it down below, whether you're watching this live, watching it later. Always love and always down to talk some birds with you. But if you enjoyed this content, do me a favor, hit that like button. You can always subscribe, turn that notification bell on, and be talking birds with me next time. And dude, every time I meet a new person, it's always awesome. I just love bringing something new. You guys always bring something to the table, and I love every second of it. I love all of you guys. Can't thank you enough. Thank you again, all of you, for helping me get to 1,000. And on to the next, baby, on the road to victory. But I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. Jack Anderson over LaRaven, no doubt. And Jack Anderson I like a lot. Brings that center and guard versatility. But, you've got Cam Jurgens there, who I think can help at center. You've got Sua Opeta, Jack Driscoll, and help at guard. That's why I left him off. But I love it, and I like Jack Anderson a lot. Oh, and you guys remember the one depth chart I did have, or the roster projection I had, LaRaven Clark left off. So I'm torn. I like him a lot, but that was if we trade Dillard. I really think he needs to be here. So there's just so much going on there. It's going to be a very, very intriguing next. Well, honestly, we only have 2 hours left, 2.5 hours left in this day. So let's get excited. Like 18 and a half hours left, right? Till we know our roster. That's pretty exciting. What's going on, my man? You know it, dude. I'm ready to run through a wall. Video 4 today. So just trying to pump out that information for you. Hope you guys all enjoyed this, but I'm going to get heading out. Let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know how you have this roster playing out, whatever is on your mind. If you guys need anything, you can always reach out to me, whatever it is. You want to talk birds, you want to talk about life, always down. And I appreciate the hell out of each and every one. Just want to let you know, hope your week is off to a great start. But again, if you enjoyed this, do me a favor, hit that like button. We're trying to build this damn thing, and really appreciate you guys. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. LaRaven Clark can play a little bit, not the greatest. He can play a little right tackle too, though, so that's good. But I appreciate you guys. Have yourselves a great night. Hope your week is off to a great start. I will be back tomorrow with the actual roster and the cuts, all that great stuff. But reach out if you need me. Stay safe out there. And as always, go Birds!